All right, I'm going to ask you guys a tough question. And we'll never know. You'll have to look inward. You have to look inward to tell the answer. If a fighter makes comments before his fight, and the way the fight played out is not in line with the comments, do you judge him differently? Do you judge him harder? Case in point, Adesanya going into the fight, going to stop him, going to find him, going to show off, going to show the world it's going to be fun. Show the world just how good he is. Now, Adesanya was coming into this off of criticism that he listened to and cared. He cared what you guys thought of his Robert Whittaker fight. So he's coming into Jared Cannonier. I'm going to show off. Words like this, right? When that doesn't happen and it goes 25 minutes, there was no knockdown, there was no stoppage, there was no highlight moment. Do you then judge, is he different? I'm pausing so you can think about the answer, because I believe it's yes. Chris Pratt, famous actor, but he went on ESPN, sat and watched the show, gave some thoughts afterwards. And he made that exact comment that Adesanya's talk and promise leading in looked to be a little bit of a stronger bark than the bite that he actually had. Do you all look at it the same way? If a guy promises you something, because I'll tell you what, because Jared Cannonier's taking no fault today. Nobody has said one bad thing about Jared Cannonier's performance. Is that because he lost? Is that because he was the B-side? Is that because he was the underdog? Or is it because we also weren't falsely promised? Jared Cannonier did not set a level of expectation. He did not underperform on anything. Is that why he's not graded differently? And if so, we don't want that to be true, do we? Do we want a guy to go out there and say, well, I don't know if this is going to be fun or not. I have no idea if this is going to be, I kind of see a decision coming up. You see where that starts to get really weird? And what's to say that Adesanya did not live up to? That was not promotion. That was not hype. That was exactly what he set out to do, because some of those punches, had they landed, by the way, would have knocked him out. Cannonier happened to get out of the way. Right? We always forget that this is a two-man dance. I'll give you guys an example. You're going to get wedded. You're going to get married on August 5th. It's going to be an outdoor wedding, but it happens to rain that day. That's not your fault. That was an unforeseen. And I really will come back to a point that I just made, which is Cannonier and the criticism. Nobody's giving it to him. The one way to beat Adesanya, and we all know this, guys, right? We understand the blueprint. Whether you can go out and execute or not, we at least know you got to take him down. You got to get him off his feet, and then you got to keep him there. The guys that have been able to do that are the guys that have been able to steal moments and over time, even around. Not only did Cannonier not do that, I don't believe I saw a time that he attempted it. I'm not certain that was part of his game plan, and not because he disagrees with us. Not because he saw something different, read a different blueprint. Because he looked within himself and realized that's not my skill set. And in the course of the preparation, the camp leading into this, I'm just not going to be able to add it. Because we still don't know today. I'm not fully convinced, right? We never kick the guy when he loses. And I know a lot of part about not criticizing Jared is just that. It's sportsmanship and general decency, behalf of a human being. But we also really don't know if he's down in the dumps. It's one of those things. When you go in there with somebody as frightening, as respected, as soon to be iconic as Adesanya, there are other victories that you will never admit to the public. There are other things when it's over that you feel good about. By example, never getting knocked down. By example, making it all 5 rounds. And we've seen athletes like this before. Amanda Nunes very much falls into that category. Shevchenko very much falls into that category. Moral victories. Are we convinced, are you, that Jared Cannonier feels terrible today? That this was all a loss? Or does it seem more reasonable based on how that fight went, that there was some victories, some small ones, that appeared to be happening for Cannonier, and when the full 25 minutes goes by, feels all right. Almost like mission accomplished. That's what's so hard. When Adesanya is going into this, he's making an assumption of how his opponent is feeling. He's making an assumption that his opponent is going to come right after him. try to close the distance, try to get him down, try to get him in the fence, whatever it is, but he's making assumptions, knowing if I was fighting myself, here's what I would do. I'm fighting a talented guy who's proven to be very good with strategies and game plans. So obviously, and then you fill in the blank. And what if you're wrong? What if it rains on your wedding day? You never expected it, and it was outside of your control. What do you do moving forward? Because I will tell you, Adesanya, after Whitaker, I'm right when I tell you, the reason he said show off, the reason he meant it and he was planning to go out and stop Cannonier isn't because he respected Cannonier. It's because he listened to what you guys said after Whitaker and it didn't make him feel good. He had a glorious moment that was taken away from him. The people that he had this glorious moment for, the audience, were not standing up and cheering on his behalf, even though he had done his job and got victory. Didn't feel good. He wanted to change that. Want to change the perception of you guys' mind. Well, what if he continues to do that? Is he going to fight differently going into Pereira? And I do hope that there are some lessons learned, because us as a community, we can never be happy, guys. I'm as guilty as you guys, but we bitch no matter what, don't we? How many times have we all said we want to see two guys stand up and bang? How many times have we said we find the grappling boring? Stand up, that's where we're at. Well, you just got it for 25 minutes, and I don't see anybody happy. You're almost guaranteed to get at Adesanya's next fight with Pereira, but we've seen other stand-up battles where guys respected each other so much, just the opposite happened. Give you guys a great example, but you'll remember Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou. We got two monsters. Who knows what's going to happen, but one of them's going to land. This isn't going the distance. We were all very comfortable with that narrative going in. What we didn't know is that they both thought that about their opponent. Hey, if this guy hits me one time, he can put me down. They had a respect. Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington's part 1 was supposed to be a massive wrestling battle between a Division II national champion and a Division I All-American. We're going to find out what the separation here is. There was not a takedown in the fight. There was not a takedown attempted. Kamaru Usman respect Colby. Colby respected Kamaru. They never said anything. It washed itself out, turned to kickboxing. But you see how those things play out? So Adesanya, if he does buy into this, I've got to be excited. If he goes and starts changing his style, it might appease you. It might become problematic. I'm not predicting he's going to do it, but he is at a very tough battle in front of him, and it's not physical. He knows physically exactly what he's getting into. Adesanya is in a mental battle. And it's a fascinating match he's leading into, and you guys might be influencing his mindset. Pereira versus Adesanya, guys, we aren't promised anything. I tell you, there's not going to be takedowns. That doesn't make it so. Other people will tell you there's going to be a finish because that's how it happened with them in the past. It doesn't make it so. Are they going to go out there? Are they going to stand and bang? Are they going to get in range just like they did when they had the big gloves on? Or is there a different respect that we don't know about? Is there a different idea by one of them to go for that first takedown ever? It's a very interesting match. Set the physical aside. Mentally, imagine being in this position. Whether you're Adesanya or you're Pereira, you're in a unique and tough spot